Sighting, warning, kitten sighting. Look at that kitten. Look how cute it is. That kitten wants you to subscribe to my vlog. Can you deny that kitten? It's a kitten. Hello and welcome. Happy Friday. It is I, your guide to all the tabletop role-playing game news, weather, sports, and crappy computers. The OGGM with the Friday news. All the bits and bobs of news that we might have missed during the week. Thankfully, not a lot, and of usual, it's mostly Wizards of the Coast news, but we do have some other news. So Wizards of the Coast news. So the latest playtest questionnaire is up over on D&D Beyond and the Wizards of the Coast site. So if you want to give your input on the disaster that is one D&D, you can head on over there. It takes about 10 minutes to do. Will they take anything in the playtest to account? So they said it's about a 2-week cycle. So they released the one D&D information on the 18th of August. Figure by, at least 30 to 50% people had it by the end of the 19th. So the survey went up yesterday at I think around 6 a.m. And it'll be up to the 18th of September, I believe. So that gives 1 to 3 weeks-ish. Figure anybody who's going to do the survey is going to do it by Friday of next week. Assuming anybody does it at all. Which means we should see the next round of the one D&D playtest probably around the end of the month, at the beginning of October. Maybe it'll be Halloween themed. Maybe we'll see the classes. Or more going into what this weird new DMs can't nat 20 thing, even though Crawford has now backpedaled on that. So we should see the next round of the one D&D playtest probably by the end of September or early October. In regards to the playtest, Wizards of the Coast has made an announcement that more people have downloaded the playtest for 1D&D than who downloaded the playtest for D&D Next. Really, Wizards of the Coast? Of course more people have downloaded it because you have more people following you now than you did in 2014, and you've made more of an effort to make the one D&D playtest available. While, if we recall, to get the D&D Next playtest, you had to write them and then wait for them to send it to you. And then you had to fill out the forms and send it back. Now everything's done through computers, and you don't have to write them a letter. You don't have to do anything at all. You don't have to wait for them to decide whether they're going to send it to you or not. Anybody can playtest the one D&D. You just have to have a D&D Beyond account. So, of course, Wizards of the Coast, the amount of playtesters you have has increased because the amount of access people have to the playtest is increased. It feels like in 2014, you really didn't invest a lot of energy in getting the playtest out there. But now, of course, you're spending every waking moment to try and get the playtest out there because you want to get past the 2014 to 2022 disaster that is your reputation that has just built up year after year after year, where now everybody is turning against Wizards of the Coast, including the Wizards of the Coast 5e actual fans. These people like, Jeannie D is backpedaling on her talks about what she feels about 1D&D. Has anybody said anything positive about 1D&D? I mean, I'm sure someone has. As of now, look, I'm reading it right now. If I would say this, if I did not know this was from Wizards of the Coast for Dungeons & Dragons, if I'm just looking at it as it's written without any conscious knowledge of where it's from, I would look at this and go, this is a really okay attempt at a first draft at an alternate take at the 5e rules. I mean, lots of other companies are kickstarting and doing alternate takes at 5e right now. So, here's just another person or another group trying to take 5e apart and put it back together and present it in a new format. It doesn't feel like Dungeons and Dragons. It doesn't feel like anything truly new and unique and different. There are some kernels of decent ideas, but mostly it just reads very amateurish. I mean, the language thing we talked about and the free feat we talked about. Other than that, taking stats away from the races and putting it into the backgrounds, they'll probably change that. Let's face it, they're going to change that. So that's I'm 60-40 on that. 60% it doesn't make sense. 40% it does make sense. I mean, I see what they're trying to do. As I always say about Wizards of the Coast, right? It's somewhere in the infinite timelines, there is a timeline where Wizards of the Coast's ideas make sense on paper. So somewhere at some point in time in the infinite timelines, this made sense. But somehow when it went from the idea to physical print, it passed through a wave of stupid. The stupid barrier, we call it. It's kind of like, the light speed barrier. It's a stupid barrier. And then when it was finished, you look at it and you go, okay, I mean, if I could take this out and this. And anyways, moving on to other news. We don't have a lot. Speaking of alternate 5e, the Dungeon Delver's Guide is up from the EN World peoples, and they have some free samples up. So if you want to get a alternate take on 5e dungeon building, you could check this out. Anyways, the questionnaire is up on the D&D Beyond site. It's not easy to find. I did it yesterday, and I was like, geez, okay. Yeah. I found it. So it says it's up. If you go to the D&D Beyond playtest thing for 1D&D, it says the survey is up and ends on the 18th, but it doesn't have a link to the survey. And if you go to the 1D&D page, there's no link to the survey anywhere that I could find. I had to dig for it, which almost makes me feel like you really don't want people taking this survey. I mean, let's face it, the number one news story about 1D&D is how weirdly people are reacting to it. And of course, 1D&D is generating another round of the shallow end of the D&D pool. These small group of YouTubers who are completely detached from reality, making outrageous accusations about the hobby in a sad attempt to get attention and be relevant. So once again, we're hearing people talk about, 1D&D is therapy, which is dangerous, okay? Because it's not therapy. And anybody who's saying 1D&D is a form of therapy and is saying that, you can just play 1D&D and deal with all your issues in real life, that is not true, and it's dangerous thinking. Anybody who's out there who's saying things like, you can use 1D&D to justify breaking up with your girlfriend. And there was another one. You can use 1D&D to justify treating your family like crap. So this is not only wrong, it's dangerous. Because for the 99% of people who are going to listen to that and go, you're an idiot, please stop talking. 1% of people are going to hear that and go, D&D is therapy. I'm very excited about it. It's a very positive engine for social change. And this guy is telling me it's okay to break up with my girlfriend and be horrible to my family. And I can just, because 1D&D says it's okay. What point does that same person go, well, 1D&D said it was okay for me to kill people or hurt people or kidnap people. So Dungeons and Dragons is not therapy. It is therapeutic, much the same way running a marathon is therapeutic, or gardening is therapeutic, or playing a video game is therapeutic, or taking a walk is therapeutic, or playing basketball is therapeutic. Anything that, helps you feel good and deal with these situations is therapeutic, but it is not therapy. Therapy is work. It takes years and you need to be done with a professional. D&D is not therapy. D&D is not an excuse for you to treat people horrible or to break up with your boyfriend or to hurt people. Or so that is just dangerous thinking, and anybody who's out there who's doing this kind of stuff, is posting these videos, really, really needs to stop before they get themselves and someone else in trouble. And yeah, that's pretty much it for D&D related news this week, or gaming news. And we do want to do I've been told, I've been missing out on doing my shout outs to the Wretched RPG / Red Room stuff. My apologies to Miguel and Sylvia. Those guys are really knocking it out of the park. The Red Room Publishing has got a new product out almost every week. Fuck, I am so jealous of Sylvia and Miguel's creativity. I haven't finished the thing that I started writing over 3 months ago, and they've put out like one new product a week. Right now they're working on Wretched Space. If you're not familiar with the Wretched system or the Red Room's work, you should be, because they've received a lot of controversial input. They got banned from drive-thru, which I think was not necessary, for the same reason Venger got banned from drive-thru, because people can somehow confuse the politics of the real person with the game, or that because there's something in the game that's questionable, it needs to be banned, and these people can't make a livelihood off of the hobby because they did something, somebody upset somebody. Oh no, he talks about bad things, and so bad thing hurt feelings, so please ban them and make sure they're labeled as horrible people and they can't make money off of their product. And yes, please do this because they're bad, because they made me feel uncomfortable. They're homophobic because I saw this picture and it made me feel uncomfortable. So rather than admit my feelings, I want to just say that Miguel and Sylvia are horrible people. And they're not. I've spoken with them several times via text. They're great people. I mean, I don't agree with all their politics, but who the fuck cares? They're extremely creative. Their stuff is just great. They're coming out with new things every week. So this is a special shout out to Sylvia and Miguel and Red Room Publishing and the Wretched Universe. So yeah, if you're looking for some low cost OSR stuff with a slightly more twisted tone, with a little bit of some dark sense of humor, and a loving tribute to Italian cinema and Italian grindhouse and Italian spaghetti westerns and Italian horror, you can just see. I've talked about this like a year ago. The stuff, Miguel sent me some of the stuff to look at and review, and I talked about it from the point of view of a film person, and just how he's taken these film genres and turned them into really well-written games that really explore a style that hasn't really been adapted to gaming yet. And in the history of, filmmaking, unless you're really into films, you kind of don't really know about the Italian film market and all the films that came out of that part of the world from the 70s through the 90s. I mean, but yet it's hugely influential. I mean, the Italian horror really influenced the grindhouse horror, which really influenced, the Asian horror, which really influenced, of course, the current American horror. We owe that grindhouse style to Italian horror. Of course, spaghetti westerns completely rewrote the Western and how we view Westerns and how Westerns are done. So, yeah, you should definitely check out the Wretched Universe. There you go. Okay, there's the shout out. I promised you. I'm sorry. All right. Anyways, that's about it for the news today. Yes, it's all Wizards of the Coast. Power Rangers has started filming its final season. Did you know that? I didn't know that. But yes. Any rumors that Hasbro is selling off Power Rangers, please ignore. Hasbro will not sell off Power Rangers. It makes them too much fucking money. But the 30 some odd year history is coming to an end. There's going to be a final series. It's going to be on Netflix. It's called Space Fury. We don't know anything about it or which Sentai they're going to be cribbing. But yeah, they are shutting down Power Rangers, and then they're going to do a reboot. There's going to be a reboot on Netflix and possibly also a separate reboot on Fox. So, and whatever channel does Power Rangers where you live. But there'll be the kid-centric reboot, and then there's going to be a more adult-centric reboot on Netflix or something like that. It's still very vague, but if you are a Power Rangers Super Sentai fan like I am, it's both sad and exciting. It's sad to see the Mighty Morphin come to an end. You know, the Zordon era, the Mighty Morphin era, the Saban era, the Disney era, the Hasbro era. I mean, Power Rangers in Space and Power Rangers RPM, 2 amazing seasons. I mean, really just wow. And the Sentai, I mean, we know I love the Sentai. Dawn Brothers is amazing. I know it looks like it's silly, but wow, it is really good. So it is kind of sad to see that the Mighty Morphin come to an end. But it's also very exciting to know that they're rebooting it and they're going to restart it and they're going to start, doing stuff with the Sentai we never saw, and they're going to start doing original stuff and, really updating the effects and everything. So that's exciting. So, yeah. And with that, it's also Labor Day weekend, so have a great weekend. Be safe, and that's it for the Tabletop Role-Playing Game News. If you appreciate this content, let me know. If you want to take the D&D Survey, link down below. If you want to check out the Wretched universe, link down below. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube yet, support me by subscribing. Until next time, get off my land.